Police have launched an investigation of Israel Electric Corporation procurer on suspicion he took bribes to tailor tenders to certain bidding firms. The investigation began after the utility lodged a complaint against Yaakov Gutmacher and 2 other employees in December 2011. Gutmacher is suspected of taking bribes in some 200 instances over the years. In one of the affairs in which Gutmacher is suspected of involvement, the senior IEC executive was convicted in 2008 of bribe-taking and sentenced to 6 years in prison. Gutmacher, 63, who has been an IEC employee for 41 years, was suspended 2 months ago due to the investigation. However, he successfully appealed the suspension to the labor court, which ordered the IEC to reinstate him and pay his court costs. During those deliberations, the suspicions against Gutmacher became public knowledge. The IEC told the Haifa District Labor Court that Gutmacher's job involved a delicate intersection with suppliers involving huge amounts of money. Gutmacher told the court that the investigation against him had been launched to justify an agreement the IEC had made with a supplier who had turned state's witness in the 2008 case of the senior IEC executive, Asher Cohen. Cohen, who has since died, was convicted of taking bribes between 1994 and 2011. In addition to his 6-year sentence, he was fined $1.75 million. Gutmacher told the labor court there had been what he called bad blood between himself, Cohen and the state's witness, Naim Token, who owned the company Hashmal Hatzafon, which had formerly been a supplier to the IEC. Gutmacher told the court the IEC had refused to show him documents supposedly connected with the suspicions against him, and that the accusations against him were therefore a clumsy attempt to frame him. The IEC told the labor court that police had instructed them not to show Gutmacher the documents out of concern that he would obstruct the investigation. According to documents presented to the labor court, the IEC had proposed that Gutmacher retire without any significant disciplinary action being taken, and that Gutmacher had turned down the deal. About 2 weeks ago, the Haifa Labor Court accepted Gutmacher's position and ordered the IEC to rescind his suspension and pay his court costs. Judge Ofriver Vienna said the IEC had not convinced the court that it had offered Gutmacher a look at various documents and that he had declined. It is inconceivable for a person to be suspended because of a suspicion that carries moral turpitude, such as bribery, without him being able to respond specifically to the claims against him, the judge said. Naim Token, who had turned state's witness against Cohen, was sentenced to community service. The IEC also brought a civil suit against Token and against Cohen for $20 million. The IEC subsequently reached an agreement with Token by which it would withdraw the civil suit if Token provided information on other people allegedly involved in the affair. The IEC also agreed to pay Token $150,000 to defray his court costs. Around the time the agreement with Token was made, in January 2011, Gutmacher was called in by his superiors at the utility for a talk about the bribery affair involving Token's company. In May 2011, an internal IEC probe revealed that utility officials had allegedly received money and other benefits in exchange for tailoring tenders to suit certain suppliers, or had issued contracts without tenders. The IEC's Deputy Director of Human Resources, Moti Waldman, also submitted an affidavit that Gutmacher was suspected of receiving illicit benefits. In December 2011, the police submitted a document to the Civil Service Commission stating that Gutmacher was suspected of approaching the supplier with a request for a bribe in exchange for allowing the supplier to win a tender. During 4 hours of questioning around that time, Gutmacher said he was never told which tender he was suspected of tailoring, or from whom he was suspected of receiving a bribe. The IEC told the Haaretz that Gutmacher's temporary suspension was based on suspicions following recent information obtained by the corporation, and without connection to information provided by Naim Token. The IEC said Gutmacher had refused to cooperate with the investigation and reiterated that the police had instructed the IEC not to show Gutmacher documents involving suspicions against him. Gutmacher's attorney, Ron Dieter, told the Haaretz that his client was certain the complaint against him, which was filed for extraneous reasons by people who are not familiar with the professional conduct in the IEC, would be found baseless. Dieter noted that after Gutmacher's questioning, the police had released him unconditionally. He also said Gutmacher's relationship with Cohen and Token had been fraught because Gutmacher had refused to dance to those tunes. Police had no comment other than to say that when its investigation was completed, it would hand over the results to the prosecution.